On today's show, Logitech wireless headset reviewed, and too many other items to mention on this time slot. This show is sponsored by Sim Raceway. Welcome to Inside Sim Racing, episode 86. I'm Jessica, and Darren's sitting back here.
Hey, everybody.
Playing some rFactor, getting ready for a 24-hour league or race or event he has coming up.
Big event.
Big
Green
event.
Hell.
Green Hell in November. So he's preparing for that. And on today's show, we have a variety of different topics we'll be covering. We're going to start off with these triple screen monitors you see behind us. A while back, we had a show titled the Eyefinity triple screen monitor setup, and we show everybody how to achieve this in their home. And we've now discovered a more affordable solution to setting up your triple screen monitors. Previously, we mentioned that you need this cable, which is a display port, and it connects from the video card into your monitor, and it also costs $50. Darren had to go to 4 different stores to find this: Walmart, Target, Best Buy. None of those stores had it, and he eventually found it at Staples for $50. So now we discovered you no longer need this $50 cable, and here's Darren showing everyone out there your affordable solution to achieving triple screen monitors.
Captain's log, start date, 10, 20, just kidding. Here to show you guys how to set up an affordable way, triple screens, Eyefinity technology. I had mentioned when I originally did this piece, Jessica showed you that cable that cost me $50 at Staples. Ridiculous. Got a few viewers tell me, dude, you got to go to Monoprice. Monoprice.com, killer prices on cables. Matter of fact, I got this DVI cable there, like $8. Anyway, people had told me that there's an adapter, a DisplayPort adapter, so you didn't need to run a DisplayPort compatible monitor, and you didn't need to run a DisplayPort cable. Problem I was having, even running that system, was anytime my DisplayPort was set up, and I've got my good friend Shaun sitting behind me. Shaun, why don't you boot up the computer and show him what happens with the DisplayPort set up. Hear the fans blowing? Fans just running full blast. As you see, no displays going on in the background here. And was just causing major problems for me. I had to unplug the DisplayPort cable, boot the system up, then plug it in as it was booting up, and then I could run triples. Well, this is the solution to that. And it's supposedly specific to this video card with these monitors. It's not happening with all 5850 cards. Shaun, thank you for turning that off.
You're welcome.
So basically what you do is you get this DisplayPort adapter, which you can convert from the DisplayPort to a DVI, which is what we have, VGA, or HDMI. I'd recommend DVI because you can get good resolution with it. Cables are fairly inexpensive. We got a 6-foot DVI cable. Now we're going to plug it all in, show you what happens when we do that. All right, so you saw us plug it in. We already had the cable routed there, so you saw us plugging everything in. We've got the DVI plugged into this monitor over here. We've eliminated the DisplayPort cable altogether. The DisplayPort adapter comes out of the video card, so you plug in the male portion there, and then you plug in, it's also a male DVI. So you plug in the cable there, and we're ready to go. Shaun, fire it up. All right. So as you'll see now, no fans going crazy. You're going to see the monitors booting up behind me.
That is if my hair is not blocking the view too much.
Yeah, Shaun's got lots of hair back there. So monitors booting up?
Yep.
Yep. So we got the middle monitor booting up. Might trip out because we stopped we stopped it mid boot up. But you can see this monitor is now booted up. So that's pretty much it. Monoprice.com to get your cables. They have 3 different adapters there. We're going to show you a picture of them here. Matter of fact, go to our forums. We're going to have that under the Eyefinity section that we had, or the thread that we had set up to talk about that. And that's it. Talk about any solutions that you may have had if you use the VGA adapters, whatever. But this eliminates the need for expensive DisplayPort monitors, the expensive DisplayPort cables that aren't readily available. you know, it gives you the options to do it on a budget. That's going to do it.
Time now for our top simulation cars of all time segment, and it's been a while since we added a car onto the list, so today we will do that and see how it holds up against the other cars. Top simulation cars of all time, sponsored by rFactorCentral.com, home of the one-click install.
So here we are for a new version of Top Sim Car. Just like you and Jessica said, it's been a while since we've done this, so I'm kind of pumped up about it.
Well, we've done the track hot lap deals, but we haven't put a top new car on the list for a while.
Which also means we haven't killed a car from the list in a while, which I think is kind of fun too. And that bubble car today is the Live for Speed Caterham.
Yep, it's bump time.
It is, and it's a nice car, but there are two better Caterhams on the list, so I'm not going to shed many tears. Today, we are bringing you rFactor, which this is actually comes back 2007 is when it came out. We had it on the Mod Squad way back when. We'd kind of forgotten about it, and then it was a conversation that brought it up that made us want to put it on the list.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, when we interviewed Dale Earnhardt Jr., we ran into his good friend and spotter, TJ Majors, who I've actually raced against and known for quite a long time. But TJ was mentioning how much fun that him and Dale and the DMP guys had running rFactor.
And so we had to get in on that, and fun is the best word to describe it. I mean, if you have not driven in dirt, that's one of my favorite things to do because it's fun. It's sideways. Doing it on dirt ovals in these crazy late models is insane amounts of fun. Do it with a few friends and you've got that inside-outside racing. Everybody's sideways. You've got maybe 3-4 different lines through the corners. You've got cars that respond to physics so you can make it turn more or less based on the type of line you want. I mean, fun, fun, fun. Throwing dirt, throwing clay, which is what you're going to get when you're at Volusia, which is where we are here testing, because we've been there before. It's a fun track. What I didn't tell you is it was the guys at Speed Sport Software, formerly known as DWR Development Team, that made this mod way back when, and it comes with two different variations. The crate model, which is 455 horsepower, 2,200 pounds, or the full-blown late model, which Darren's running here, which is a monster, 790 horsepower, 2,300 pounds, and the things roar. They are almost out of control the minute you step on the gas, and you've got just crazy competition making them fun. So, why don't we get to the scores?
Why don't we?
You want to rattle them off?
Sure. Actually, perfect timing. I'm in the pits. All right, so let's see here. Starting with physics. Out of 20, we gave it an 18. Sounds. Out of 15, we gave it a 12. Models. Out of 10, we gave it a 9. Cockpits, 8.5 out of 10. Fun factor, 9.5 out of 10. Immersive, 9 out of 10. Force feedback realism, 8.5 out of 10. Damage, 3 3/4 out of 5. Skins, 5 out of 5. Default set, 3 1/4 out of 5 for a grand total of 86.5.
86.5, which ties it for 24th overall with the Fiat Abarth from Netcar Pro, which actually was on the top of the SimCar chart for a very long time. And it also ties it for 24th with the rFactor Supra, which is a really good car as well. So
both great cars, actually. I mean,
yeah.
For the Abarth was at the top of the SimCar list, and this is basically matching it. So.
Yeah. And it could have gotten a couple more points. I beat it up in setup, default setup, and it wasn't hard to change it to a setup that worked pretty well. Little camber change, and what other adjustments you get? Because you found a lot of
tire
time.
pressure.
Right.
It changed the gearing a little bit. This is for Volusia, so
right.
It wasn't for me. I gave it a 4 in default set. I didn't mind the default set. It wasn't fast, but it got you around the track.
But just like that, we did some changes, found another full second, which is a great thing in the category of physics. It shows how well the car responded, and all the changes we did, we kind of expected to get the reaction of the car that we did. So great stuff. I mean, the guys did a great job on this mod. I'm going to give it one of the highest recommendations I can give it. I mean, download it, go to rFactor Central, one-click install this. You're going to thoroughly enjoy it. They also have a ton of dirt tracks available for you there. And just, I mean, you can download track after track and just try them out. It's a great amount of fun.
Hook up with your friends. Let us know if you're doing some racing. We'd love to join you. I want to do some dirt oval tracking.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, this is all about fun. But on a somber note, we are going to have to put the Live for Speed Caterham to rest, out to pasture, play a little taps. And but again, don't shed too much of a tear because we have 2 other Caterhams on the list that are very nice cars.
That's right.
So, anyway, that is going to do it for Top Sim Car of All Time, sponsored by rFactor Central.
Feel your sim racing experience come to life with the Butt Kicker Gamer 2 by Caterham. To enhance your F1 2010 experience, you can get $10 off a Gamer 2 now by going to InsideSimRacing.tv and clicking on the Butt Kicker banner to take advantage of this offer. Live the game and feel the music with a Butt Kicker Gamer 2 for $119.99. Only at InsideSimRacing.tv. Does not include shipping and handling. Offer ends October 31st, 2010.
Hey, I'm Dalen Hart Jr., and you're watching Inside Sim Racing.
We're back here, and as you may have noticed, we switched locations here on the set. Darren's sitting in the Game Pod. Actually, it's the Evo, Game Pod Evo, and you can find this over at their website, which is here. And they sent this.
I guess we've been saying that wrong too. People, I guess from the UK said you're supposed to say gamepod.co.uk.
Yeah.
I don't think that sounds right though, do you?
We have a commercial. We say gamepod.co.uk, and we've been mispronouncing it. It's gamepod.co.uk.
Let's have a little poll.
Yeah.
We'll put it in the forum. What sounds better?
What sounds better, .co.uk or .co.uk? We'd like to know from you guys.
That's right.
Nonetheless, the GamePod Evo that you're looking at here they sent it over to us, and it's actually the Jessica Lopez edition, and I'm
personalized edition. That's right.
Thankful that they took the honor of putting my name on the chair, and it has the very comfortable butt seat cushions as you're looking at here.
They're like indented for nice butt fitting.
For comfortableness.
Yeah, comfortableness.
For long periods of sitting down and racing.
That's right, for endurance racing.
And what the guys like about this setup is that any wheel can easily attach very quickly and with no hassle, which works for us since we always have a ton of wheels on the show and we like to test them all out. And that leads me to our next segment here. We're going to be showing you which wheels work and which do not for WRC on the PS3. We currently had the title on the show a couple episodes back, and we put it on our Shabami, and that was the PC version. Now we have the PS3 version, and we've realized that some other wheels that didn't work with the PC work with the PS3. So if you're a PS3 owner and you play WRC,
or are considering playing WRC.
That's right. We're going to go ahead and show you which wheels work, which do not, and how to get your wheels dialed in.
Captain's log, start 8. Just kidding again. Just can't help it with this chair, man. This thing is full freaking Star Trek. Anyway, we originally planned on doing a full review, Shabamian PS3 version of WRC. But in talking about it, and looking at games like F1 2010 and this one that are, cross-platform, we decided to pick the best platform. And in this case, PC for WRC, PC for F1 2010. Those are the titles that are going to get shabamied. We already did WRC, so we're not going to shabami the PS3 version. But we are going to touch on some different ways to set up the PS3 version. And one of the strong points of the PS3 version is the wheel compatibility. Fanatec booted right up, no problems. Logitech booted right up, no problems. Thrustmaster, we'll let you know. Still haven't, as of this filming, haven't tested it, but we're going to get to that right after this. But first thing we did on the Fanatics was we upgraded to the new firmware version, which is 681. And you can get it at 911wheel.de if you're a Fanatec owner. And make sure you do, because that adds a lot more functionality in your wheel. Also, supposedly brings the life out of F1 2010. Again, haven't tried that yet. We just upgraded the wheels and got some footage of that happening. But yeah, it adds more tuning functionality. You get spring and damper settings that you get to mess with, and then all the other ones. And that's only with the most current versions of the Fanatec wheels. So the GT3 RS V2, the Carrera, and the 911 Turbo S. So that's the first thing we did. Once we got them all set up, here's what our settings were on the Fanatec wheels.
The Fanatec wheels are the only wheels that allow for adjustments other than what is supplied in-game. Our settings for the Fanatec wheels within the wheels menus are as follows. Sensitivity, 360. Force feedback, 100. Drift mode, 3. ABS, 60. Linearity, 0. Dead zone, 0. Spring, 0. And damper, 0. Once inside the game, we found all 3 brands of wheels to work well with similar settings. The Thrustmaster maxes out at 270 degrees. The Logitechs are software locked to about 360 degrees, and we set up our Fanatics to 360 as well. In WRC, we set the dead zone for the wheel and both the gas and brake pedal to 0. For linearity, we left most of them around the midway point or slightly lower than that.
That's how we set up our wheels for WRC. It may change depending on your personal preference, but that's how we did it for us. Logitech's, no hardware settings, so there's nothing for us to tell you on that. It's pretty much plug and play. Map all your buttons the way you need to, and then the linearity sliders and all that, it's all going to be personal preference. Adjust them based on what you want. Our settings are pretty much the same across, from Fanatec to the Logitech wheels, because we can adjust the Fanatec wheels on the hardware. For the Thrustmaster F430, it's the same thing. So that's going to do it on setting your wheels up for WRC for the PS3, and hopefully you got something out of that. We also just wanted to show the compatibility, that they all were compatible, and also wanted to talk about that firmware upgrade for the Fanatec wheels, because it's definitely essential. Go to our forums. We're going to have a thread on setting your wheels up for the PS3. If you set yours up differently for WRC, let us know how you had your settings, so it might be better for somebody else. Anyway, that's going to do it for this segment on wheel setups for WRC for the PS3.
Next up, we have the F540 wireless headset by Logitech for the PC and the Xbox 360.
It's almost like the F430 Ferrari.
It reminds me of the F150 truck.
Lots of Fs.
Lots of Fs, but these
are
are
the F.
What the F? These are the F.
Speaking of what the F, give me those. I can't hear what I'm doing over here.
I kind of stole those from him to show you guys.
All right,
but I guess he needs his sound in order not to crash.
Yeah.
Without sound, I guess you're not as good as we thought you were.
No, I'm deaf.
We're going to be putting them on our rev scale today, which is our basic 1 to 10 scale. And this segment is sponsored by RaceSimCentral.com, home of sim racing news and forums since the year 2000.
As many of you know, I'm a huge advocate of racing in headphones. For me, it blocks out distraction. Combine it with a butt kicker and you're talking about the best gaming experience. And to top it off, I don't bother my neighbors or anyone I live with. So today I'm actually going to be testing out the Logitech F540 wireless headphones. You can see no wires attached. And these are actually some pretty nice headphones. They feature 2.4 gigahertz wireless, 10-hour battery life, a charging port, multiple inputs. They actually have a light on the microphone letting you know whether it's on or not. Another nice thing is they have adjustable head cups, which makes the fit really good and makes the ceiling very good. When I say ceiling, the audio ceiling, I'm getting no outside noise in through the cups. Now, as I mentioned, these do take multiple inputs. They're intended for the PlayStation, the Xbox 360, and any additional input. And this starts right here with this little box, which on the back you will see has multiple inputs. This one here being for the power, and then you have the PS3, the Xbox, and an auxiliary, which is just a regular stereo jack. You'll also see a USB input, and we'll get to that in a little bit. So as I mentioned, you have multiple inputs. On the headphones, you actually have an input selector. So once we get all 3, or as many inputs as we want into this, we'll be able to use this to switch the audio from input to input instead of having to change a bunch of wires, plugging things in and out. Now, on a standard PlayStation, you will have either the low def or the high def cords. Either scenario will supply you with a red and white that is intended for audio. Now, normally you'd plug this into your television set. With this, they've included a pair of wires that actually allow you to plug these in and split off and still plug into the TV, and then the other end would go to the box, enabling your input for the PS3. Now, these also have a microphone, and supplied with it is also a USB type cable that will plug into that port that we showed you in the back that I said we'd get to, and then you would plug that into the second position on your PS3. You would go into the settings tab for the PS3, go to accessories, audio devices, and then select the Logitech wireless headphones. And there you can actually adjust the volume of the microphone as well. And now for the Xbox 360. Very similar situation, except for they only gave us one of these hijacking cables, so you need to either get splitters or go get another set of these to be able to also plug in your Xbox. So with my Xbox, I'm also using the high-def cables. Now on some Xbox systems, when you use the audio-video cables, it actually prevents you from using your HDMI. In that case, you're going to need to use the HDMI cable straight to your television or monitor, and then actually use the output, which hopefully you have, in order to capture the sound. So what I have here is a plug that converts regular audio to regular stereo jack that I will then plug into the Logitech receiver. And the last step on the Xbox 360 is actually plugging in, and they supply you with a wire that goes right into the remote and into a jack on the headphones. And for our PC, which I want to use in that auxiliary position, I have a mini plug to mini plug that I will go into the green channel and into the Logitech box to get that as an input. Now that you're up and running on just about any system, let's get to the pros and cons. Now these headphones, these have the best wireless I have ever used. They claim they work 33 feet, but I'm going to tell you, I went upstairs and was able to still use them. And I've tried other headphones where I couldn't even walk. I'm not a big fan of wireless, so these outperformed my expectations in that. Another thing is, they are very comfortable. Not only in the ear comfort and the noise cancellation that's going on, but also they're very adjustable for any size head. And like I mentioned, the pivoting cups are a huge addition because headphones that don't will often let air get in the back and you can actually hear noise from outside. So that's very good. Another thing that I am a big fan of is the roller volume switch on the headphones. And this is both for the microphone volume and the headphone volume. I find that it also has a good range of volume instead of very small steps, and it's easy to adjust. And that goes for all of the buttons on the headset. They're easy to find, and it's easy to remember what each one does. Another thing is the microphone. It's very nicely tucked out of the way when you're not using it, and it has a good range of motion and is flexible so that you can actually put it exactly where you want. Another thing is the red light. That red light being on tells you that your microphone is not live. The other great thing is the multiple plugins. For us, we do have a PlayStation, an Xbox, and a PC all hooked up to this TV. And being able to never change a wire again is a huge bonus for us or anybody using multiple things. You can also plug in a DVD player, MP3 player, anything that you want into those jacks. Another thing is, it's a very crisp, clear sound. So we've cranked these all the way up, and the sound quality is very good in them overall. And the last thing is the battery life. I've actually got very good battery life from a full charge, been able to use it all day long, leave it on the charger overnight, and they're good to go. And not only is there good battery life in them, but they actually work on the charger. So you can plug them into the charger and still use them during that point. And that takes us to the cons. Now, despite the quality, they're just not as loud as I would like. I mean, I'm not advocating anybody to turn their headphones up too loud, but I want to be able to set that limit for myself. These did not exceed how loud I would like headphones to go. Another thing is, they're a little bit lacking in the low-end bass. So despite having good quality, they don't have as much oomph as some other headphones that I've listened to. The other thing is, these are made for being with 3 inputs, like I mentioned, but they only give you the cords to actually do one, and they give you none of the mini plugs. So I had to go get a set of splitters and a mini plug to be able to plug in 3 devices. And at that price, it really should come with the wires. That's the intended purpose, multiple inputs, so give me the wiring to do multiple inputs. And that takes me to the last con. If you're not doing all 3 inputs, it's a lot of money. At $149, there are a lot of headsets to choose from. And that makes them a little pricey if you're not using 3 inputs into it. So that takes us to the rev scale. Considering all the pros and cons, we're going to give these an 8. They overall perform very well, but still leave a little lacking or a little to be desired. They're definitely worth it for those, like I said, who are using all sorts of inputs, and for those who aren't, you're probably going to want to look for a different set.
That's going to wrap up this 86th edition of Inside Sim Racing. Hope you guys have enjoyed the show.
Quite a few topics today.
Quite a few topics. We work a little bit all over the place, but nonetheless, we hope that everyone can pick something up out of the show and learn something, and that's what we're here for.
That's right.
So keep on watching, educating, and
reviewing,
and
you name it.
You name it.
We're covering it.
That's what we're here for. Make sure to visit our website, InsideSimRacing.tv. I said Inside Sim Racing.
Sim Racing.
Inside Sim Racing.
With a G.
TV.
There's a G at the end of that, just so you know.
I'm a little country sometimes.
That's right. Nothing wrong with that.
Checker flag is out, and so are we. Racing rigs provided by GamePod, the choice of champions. Go to gamepod.co.uk. Get your background images at wall-graphics.com. But I don't know. I know that the box says it's for the PS3 and Xbox 360, which I said twice. Let me start over. Next up, we have the F540 wireless headset by Logitech for the PS3.